Today we are landing on ice, but no, it is not a metaphor for Cullen attempting curling.
So why I make...
We are talking landing one of these, a C17 aircraft at one of the most remote airports in Antarctica. These babies are massive. 53 metres long, with a wingspan tip to tip of 52 metres. So, it would take up a third of Australia's largest sporting ground, the MCG. Each plane costs between $250 and $500 million. Elite pilot Ben is lucky enough to fly these giants of the sky. It's a challenging job. Landing these things on solid ground, that is really, really impressive, but you actually land these on ice as well.
We do, yeah. So it's about a 265-tonne aeroplane at max weight, and we put it down on the ice, but the Australian Antarctic Division make it seem like a normal runway for us.
Now, what do we actually have here?
So this is a C17, a Globemaster 3. It's an American Boeing aircraft that we've purchased, and it's huge.
And it can literally carry anything, can't it?
Yeah, anything. The cargo compartment is enormous for a cargo aircraft. We carry helicopters, personnel, large equipment, tractors for the Australian Antarctic Division, that sort of thing.
The C17 also flies in aid to people affected by floods, cyclones and earthquakes. Pilots use technology to land anywhere in the world.
We tell the computer that we're landing on ice and it tells us how far that's going to extend our landing distance. But it's not so much the landing as the getting to Antarctica that is the big issue. For example, we have to fly lower than we normally would to avoid the fuel in the wings freezing on the way down.
So do you get a little bit intimidated?
Not so much. Every now and again you look around the aircraft and remember how big it is. But from the cockpit, it's all fly-by-wire, so it doesn't feel like you've got a block of flats strapped to the back of your chair. But every now and again you think about it and you're like, wow, we do. We
actually do. We have 4 helicopters on board.
Yeah.
These pilots make their work look incredibly easy. But the secret is lots of training on the ground before they ever get airborne. Welcome to the C17 Cockpit Simulator.
So we spend about 3 months, 4 months initially learning how to fly the aircraft, and then we'll go and fly the aircraft for real.
So how does this actually help you prepare for landing on ice?
This simulator replicates exactly what the aircraft will do in flight and on the ground, so it's very, very accurate. We can set it up anywhere in the world we'd like, so we can take off from Hobart and land down at Wilkins Aerodrome in Antarctica.
Wow.
Everywhere in this aircraft.
So this is similar to your C17 aircraft?
It is identical. So the cockpit you see here is exactly what we have in the aircraft from every little tiny switch to the dish computer itself. It's all identical. But for flying down in Antarctica, we only need to do one simulator to go and see the differences. What it's like, cold weather operations, down operating around the poles. Subtle differences on how it normally operates.
So have you had any, close calls or dodgy moments in the simulator to date?
Yeah, but that's exactly what we train for. So we have all sorts of emergencies. That's why we practice in the simulator, because if anything does go wrong, we'll just restart and we'll try again until we get it right.
Can we chuck the headphones on and have a go?
Absolutely, let's
do it. Look out! Totally wild pilot Jesse is now at the helm. And stick around for more of these fantastic flying machines. More now on the RAAF's giant, the C17 Globemaster. We told you it can carry helicopters, equipment and people. But it also carries VICs. That's very important cars. When the American president visits another country like Australia, his bulletproof limousines are flown there, in the back of a C17 Globemaster. For a landing in Antarctica, there are skilled ground teams ensuring everything is ready and safe. Now, Aaron, we know there's a whole heap of talent going on in the cockpit of the plane, but there's also a lot of talent at ground level, isn't there?
There is, that's correct. Basically, we've got to work the surface to try and simulate similar conditions to what they normally experience in Australia, like a wet concrete runway, and that generally takes us about a week's worth of preparation work for the aircraft to land.
And considering the surface, which is ice, which is absolutely incredible, it'd have to be a certain length.
That's correct. It's 3.5 kilometres long.
Wow.
And it's on a slight uphill as well. That's just as nature provided us. And we use that to land both the A319 aircraft and the C17 aircraft. Both those aircraft don't need that length of terrain to land, although it's probably handy to have that length of, just in case something happens.
Now, obviously, Antarctica, extreme conditions and pretty unpredictable conditions. So I'm guessing pilot, ground level, really, really good communication.
Correct, yeah, just like every other landing, we establish communications on their approach. Once that's established, we give them a clear to land, and then everything else they do themselves. They taxi by themselves, and once they've parked the aircraft and open the rear door, then we interface with the aircraft like you would on a normal runway in Australia.
And obviously we're not in Antarctica today, we're in sunny Queensland. we certainly wouldn't be standing in t-shirts if we were in Antarctica.
No, that's
but
correct.
I'm guessing you can't land planes there all year round.
No, you can't. We only run through what we call the austral summer from about late October to early March each year. It's just too cold and too harsh in winter.
If you get a chance to see one of these monster machines up close, jump at it. You'll probably be fascinated by everything that makes these big birds tick.